Welcome back to day 2 of the 12 days of star signs. I'm Ilona Pamplona, the Postmodern Oracle. And just to remind you, in this series and in this free training, you'll understand each zodiac sign, learn how to interpret how they get their characteristics, and see how each sign impacts you, even if they're not part of your big three. So, as a recap, we talked in the first episode about how we have all the star signs within us. So, every zodiac sign is a star sign or a sign, and we have all of them in us. Then we have a layer of planets. They're kind of the player on our team of life, and they play out in the houses where they are placed. Today, we are going over sign 2, which is Taurus. So Taurus has a really cool mythology. It actually is representative of the friendship between Persephone and the Taurus Ceres, or the bull Ceres. As you can see, because it's a bull, then we look at the glyph, and the glyph looks like a bull's head. So this is where we get to understand how the symbology of the signs also occur. So Ceres was a mortal bull, but it was pretty big. It was known for trampling on flowers and villages. But Persephone saw him one day and was like, let me hang out with him. And her presence calmed him to the point that they established a friendship. Now, if you're not familiar with the mythology of Persephone, she had an arrangement where every year she would go to Hades. She had an arrangement with Hades, the king of the underworld, and she would come back in the spring and plant flowers and things would bloom again. So what would happen is that when she would return to Hades, to the underworld, Ceres, after their friendship was established, he would return to the constellations, to the skies. And what would happen is they, every spring, would meet back on Earth, and he would take her on rides so she can plant the spring flowers everywhere she went. And their friendship is representative, first, of patience, right? Because he had to wait for her to come back, and the earthly senses. So let's talk about more about this symbology for Taurus, because it's an earth sign and it's a fixed sign. So its element is earth, which is measured, right? There's rules and grounded and practical, but it's also fixed, which is stable, dependable, almost immovable, one would say, kind of like a big bull, right? So when we're looking at all the layers of Taurus, we can make the following interpretations. First of all, that Taurus is very stable. The bull was a grounding force for Persephone when she returned each spring. He gave her the energy, the stable energy, to do what she came here to do, to restore all of the life back in spring. Taurus represents patience, like a good fixed quality. It's dependable. Taurus has the type of patience that made it reliable, right? Like patience creates the sense of reliability, just like the relationships of Ceres and Persephone. They knew that if they waited it out, that when they would come together, everything would be exactly as they expected it to be, and that they would make these flowers bloom. But it required that patience to have the dependability and reliability, to co-create the way they had co-created according to the mythology. And Taurus is sensorial. It's about the senses, it's about the physical senses, because while Persephone was in the underworld and Ceres was hanging out in the constellations, the joy was from being in the richness of the earth. The joy was being on earth, smelling the flowers, eating the food, feeling the summer, the spring sun on their faces. And that's also where we get that sense of the richness, right? Like the richness of all the earthly experiences, and earthly comforts we get. So now when we look at how does this apply to my chart, you're going to go all around your chart until you find the bull symbol. And I have the bull symbol down here personally for me, based on my rising. And I have a few planets. I have the moon in Taurus, and I have Chiron in Taurus, which is the wounded healer. You can learn more about that in Ad Astra if you join for the program. But yeah, so I have 2 planets here. And so this tells me, first of all, that the moon, my emotions are very reliable. I tend to be pretty stable when there's emotional chaos around me. And when it comes to Chiron, there's a sensorial quality that I get to heal. I get to heal really indulging and enjoying all the senses of the earth. And maybe I also get to heal like slowing things down, right? Like taking my time to do things. So these are ways we can begin to look at how to interpret the signs and how they fit in our charts, because you take the theme of the planet and you see what outfit it's wearing, which is a sign that we're going over in this series. The house that it plays in gives you a little bit deeper of interpretation. For me, it's in the 5th house, the house of passions and authentic expression. So there's a lot about like me really having this stability that I create with the things that I'm passionate about to really experience that fully in my life. And if you have an empty house, or if you have an empty house where Taurus rules, don't worry about that. That means that that's something that you cleared in a past life, or it's just not a main focus of you in this life. And the house that Taurus is a house ruler in will tell you probably where you tend to experience generally patience in, or reliability, or dependability. I am hoping that you are enjoying the series. If you have any questions, you can always contact me, Ilona at ilonapamplona.com. And yeah, I can't wait to show you number 3 tomorrow. We'll go over Gemini.